Hello and thank you all for watching. This is Manny Sunny Sun for a astrological report. We begin with the moon being in a full moon aspect, July the 2nd. A wanted mutation or suffering the current matrix. To clean our matrix, The full moon represents our emotions, and Capricorn represents guilt. The Cancer represents impotence. These polarities of, protection represents Cancer, and Capricorn represents impotence. So July, fetus, vulnerability, transmutation, and change. This full moon has something radical in that it comes to shake our own inner circles, our privacy circles, family circles, circles of security, friendship circles. As if we have to change the matrix, we are invited to find security, that we find the safety beyond, which is usually that gives us our own inner security. So we force this of the tsunami, the force of the tsunami before us is up to the resistance that we have placed to face to prospective changes. So if the death has done its work of transformation needed in this broad sense of courses, then life will throb in connection with new places, new links from help to get us where we are, of who we are. If this is not the case, it is, however, the case completely anyway. Then the external events may require us to leave what we hold most. Letting go of old guilt trips. Cancer Capricorn axis also being linked to family with our database and how it allows us to grow and deploy us into the world. It is possible that we may be faced with old guilts used to channel for the family depths. The installing of families or relationships turn into legalities or closed in, and where accountability and responsibility is to protect, to reign supreme. There have been a better teacher. There has to be a better teacher. So do I have the right to take my place and be happy while others around me are not? Do I have the right to live as others before me or die? Am I allowed to get close to me and leave this survival when so many people are still stuck there? Do I have the right to live rather than to survive? Do I still let people to plug on me the carrier family energy? Am I the center of my life, or is there other people and their needs are? How can I leave the system that is me taking into account of others and having the confidence that my departure will also give me the permission and openings? Leaving on good terms when possible is of healing memories. Family or personal momentum was deemed the saboteur of the dynamics of the whole system. Guilt can also serve as a protection to continue to idealize a family member who has caused us the wrong way or another. It is me or the fault I can't continue, or the other, as the ideal to feel secure, except that the child system within us does not seem to protect us. On the contrary, I often talked about this in my articles as a fundamentals for me to feel sorry for the repetition, but I also incorporate more views on that. So, of course, these guilts may emerge from the connections that we share on issues or on monetary payoffs, especially on that. But by the opportunity to there is to heal, and this could be a great opportunity for on the cellular level of transmutations, as an opportunity to hear all of our emotions being related to us by memories of violence, or to regain strength in our own security. The most violent memory of our own childhood could be reactivated internally or externally to experience a true transformation. I often accompany many people who have experienced abuse, for example, that speak to me of having already many times told their stories in therapy and do not want to talk again and again about the same case not being resolved. But often it is very important to pan out the history that has been obscured by sometimes therapy was made on a cerebral level. This means that this does not mean that it does not help them at that time. Thus the person was able to zap in the fact that whether a parent is violent or the other parent could remain as passive and has not protected, for example, or forgot that anger against the abusive parent was able to return to the not divine protector with all the associated beliefs. Difficult in these conditions to live in, even emotional or material security on earth. So the brain protects the reptilian phase of abuse in the struggle. So if you are affected by this tragedy experienced in childhood, do you continue to live this fight in the form of survival? Often others could, in others, install a tendency to feel helpless about life, and sometimes life by the strong sense of enclosure. And if at this moment you feel happiness in any situation, you can taste it, you can feel it, love this impotence, and have the actions for this little you, quote unquote, quote, of you that could not do anything at that current time. So if you want to be helpless, you do not live a form of abuse of the child within you. In a very subtle level, you're but the very healer. You know how to listen to your own impotence without blame here or there. That is the key. And if there's one thing that is hard to even listen or even recognize it immediately, as it is not our own powerlessness. Have you ever heard of someone in a formal dinner or persons not familiar with you say, "The sailor, since I feel helpless about my boss that encloses upon me," it would be rather, "This boss is worthless and is void and has nothing to do that can put out the spoke in his wheels, and yet I remain polite." Healing through this, listening through our affections for oneself, that links back to us our actions of unconsciousness. So we have all that is seen in intense forms of violence that still regard as rage on this planet on these days. So continue to take care of your own shadow, and let us not be depressed by these convulsions on the ancient world as it was publicized. Even if it affects us, it's not normal. Let us not forget that besides all this, there is more and more people awakening to their transformation of their own shadows. Other forms are affected by this full moon. Memories of abuse, sexual or takeovers related to the notion of territory. Recognizing the abuser of our own childhood allows us not to let others or enter intentionally or unintentionally in us by our own faults. Difficult to see clearly when we part on what we have lived, all that remains in the shadows of our own gratitude, the tracks we have left. Rehearsals, summarization, anniversaries, dreams, synchronicities, emotions all correlate to this. What the uterus is in the broad sense is that have we evolved? Security or insecurity? Finally, the theme of death in all its forms is present in impotence, in the face of death. Fear of death drives us even to the present day. So in connection with the Matrix, it cannot talk about the grief made in the tree that have led survivors in large impotence, but also our mourning in connection with the other Matrix. The Matrix is the seat of our own greatest bliss, but also sometimes our own greatest fears. So imagine a soul that is embodied in a fetus. It happens that to have a miscarriage or an abortion, and who loses his twin during such road, all or part of the story. So how much will he survive in its own place? To what struggle? Will he trust the capacity of his own body to stronger than the Grim Reaper? So the person she is going in daring contact is her own vulnerability, or she must marry or the suit of this warrior or the superwoman to protect themselves. Especially as it is often other events in childhood confirm an obligation to struggle and insecurity. For that person's get to the land and place, quiet, safe, will be a huge achievement. Rapid exchanges and great opportunities of incarnation of altruistic and innovative projects. Otherwise, good news for Mercury. It resumes its gallop forward and the possibility to finally conclude a contract have not shifted the appointment, and to take place in public transport without being stopped 3 times a day. So trade show on that, because that's good, because it is nice to see that we can go dancing, go on a vacation, go and exchange with new people, while gradually leaving the pressures of Martian quality that bosses our own nervous system still present, still notably thought out as heat of the weather. So another reason to celebrate all these creative and original projects is with the scope of altruistic are fully supported at this time, and there are great opportunities to integrate this in the society of our progressive society by the energy of the heart and the higher consciousness to come and heal the beliefs that have hindered us in all that. So everything can go very fast if you're only aligned with the intentions and that they are very clear. So if it is changed by this planet, each of us with our desire, our own talents, and the resources, then we should go. A toast to this new land, our own indoor, outdoor places of opportunity that bears for us, ourselves, and others, and for change, for drastic change. So thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and hope you enjoy this reading of my interpretation for this aspects that we've just mentioned. Thank you all for watching.